Hello, people of the world. Today we're going to go over day two of the alleged assault trial for the former leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party, Travis Patron. Before we do that, I'd like to say a little prayer. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rahmanirrahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in. Ihdina sirata mustaqim. Sirata lazina amda ilayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amen. Now we got that out of the way. Let's do this. So, similar to yesterday, in that Travis Patron didn't cross examine the witness testimony. Um, and now I don't know if it was the second woman that testified today, but now they're saying that I guess some other facts came out that weren't yesterday, as it becomes apparent that the alleged victims were intoxicated and believe they there was another one said they broke their wrist instead of a concussion and that they missed 2 weeks of work instead of months. I don't know. They keep changing the story. Um, so anyway, let's just we'll watch the video at the end, and we'll just go through this story here. Maybe we'll um, do some commentary on it, and then we'll watch the video at the end. Okay. So the second day of trial for Travis Patron, the former leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party, mirrored how the first day ended. The man accused of assaulting two Regina teachers in November 2019 sat silent when he was given the chance to cross-examine one of the alleged victims, Amanda Roshinsky. Tron is charged with 2 counts of assault causing bodily harm. He is representing himself in court and he has pleaded not guilty. The victims, Roshinsky and Alison Torkaz, have both testified as part of the Crown's evidence. Uh, Remember, testimony can always be hearsay. Yeah, I haven't. I don't know. Have you guys seen affidavits on here yet? No. Um, Note that. On Tuesday, Tucker testified that two women went out for drinks at Victoria's Tavern following a tribute concert at the Casino Regina on November 1st, 2019. The women met two men at the bar who happened to be with Patron that night, Torkaz says. I got a bad feeling from Travis from the start, Torkaz told the court. The whole group made their way to the Fat Badger, Torkaz said, but she does not remember seeing or talking to Patron after that. At the end of the night, the women walked to an apartment building on Victoria Avenue to see if one of Roshinsky's friends was home. She testified while they were standing outside the building. Torkaz said a tall figure approached them. Well, that's one of the victims. It was Patron. He offered the woman a ride home, Torkaz said, but they repeatedly declined. Roshinsky, so says the other victim. She said at the point Patron hit her across the head. However, Torquez did not see that happen. Interesting. My head was down in my phone. I had my hood up. I did not realize he had hit Amanda, Torquez said. Wyszynski followed a couple that had opened the front doors with the key and ushered Torquez into the apartment building, according to testimony. So okay, so Wyszynski got hit in the head, and Torquez didn't see it. Okay, she was looking at her phone. Wyszynski followed the couple. Oh, I already did that. Okay, Torquez said she didn't realize that we were in a situation that we needed to be worried about. So this is the lady with the phone. And she opened the door to go outside to wait for an Uber. Torquez said that is when Patron walked in and allegedly slapped her across the face. Okay, so he hit. So this is the lady that uh, had the phone when the and she said that she didn't see the first assault, but now she's allegedly saying she slapped across that Patron slapped her too. So, so so hard that I fell down, and when I fell, I tried to brace myself. She testified, adding that is how she broke her wrist. I tried to get up, and he hit me down again. He left. Surveillance video from inside the apartment foyer shows a man hitting a woman to the ground before grabbing another woman. Interesting. Oh. After the alleged assault, Krasinski called 911 while the woman waited inside the building. Both women admitted to having some drinks that night. Regina Police Service constable testified that the women were slightly intoxicated when the officers arrived on the scene, which is why the police waited until the next day to gather the woman's official statements. Lorca has testified that she had missed a few days of work to decompress and she needed to wear a brace for 6 weeks to heal her broken wrist. Physically, she said she is fine, but emotionally, she is suffering. She's still suffering. Always want to believe the best in people, and now that's been destroyed. Torquez said, "This changed my life forever. I'm definitely not going out. Definitely not going to be, I'm definitely going to be a lot more careful, a lot more guarded." Uh, and then Patron opted not to cross examine Torquez the same way he declined to question Roshinsky. The Crown has submitted all the evidence. Tron closed his case after choosing not to testify or call any witness. Both sides are accepted to give their closing arguments to the jury on Thursday morning. Patron had been remanded at the Regina Provincial Correctional Center. And then it says Patron ran for the Canadian Nationalist Party in the riding of Source Mountain in 2019 federal election. Canadian Nationalist Party was registered as official party on September 15th, 2019. The party was involuntarily deregistered on March 31st, 2022, according to Elections Canada, after the party failed to meet Elections Act requirement of at least 250 members. Um. Okay, so something new, some new stuff coming in. Um, so they were intoxicated. Um, Still no affidavit submitted as testimony, which which can be dismissed as hearsay. I guess there's a video out there that shows that he grabbed two women. It, I don't know, seems weird. Um, It didn't really. I don't know, man. This is the thing that the media just gives like a one-sided like story, um, and doesn't really say what Travis did. Only he says he didn't alleged. I guess he didn't want to testify, and he didn't want to cross-examine. And then he was also talking. So I'll play the video too because there's also some other information on there as well. That's kind of interesting. It's going behind the scenes, kind of like I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is like above my pay grade. So um, yeah, like this is just so one sided. Like even if I were looked at, if I were come like objectively as a center, like well, what's the story? And it just seems like I'm not quite sure. Like what So Torquez was Shinsky the one that had the concussion? I don't know. It just seems weird. Um, yeah. I mean, what? I mean, I guess another thing we have is they were also intoxicated, so their balance wasn't as great. So who knows? He could have bumped into him. I don't know. It just smacked across the face. I don't know. It just fell down. It could have just been. It could have been multiple things, but like I said, there's just a lot of stuff there that's still left unanswered, and I'm not there in the courtroom, so I can't really say. And then there's also some other stuff too. I guess Travis was talking to a judge. But here, I'm going to play the video now.
The former leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party has chosen not to testify in his own trial.
Travis Patron is charged with assault after an alleged incident in Regina in 2019. Allison Bamford has the details.
Day two of Travis Patron's trial starting exactly where it left off. Patron sitting silent, declining his chance to cross-examine one of the women he allegedly assaulted. The former leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party faces 2 counts of assault causing bodily harm. He allegedly attacked 2 Regina teachers, Amanda Rashinsky and Allison Tokars, in November 2019. Patron is representing himself in court, pleading not guilty. The women say they met Patron at Victoria's Tavern the night of the alleged assault. Tokars, taking the stand, says she, quote, got a bad feeling from him from the start. Tokars says they went to the Fat Badger. She didn't see Patron for the rest of the night, until she says he approached them on Victoria Avenue while the women were waiting for an Uber. The women say Patron offered them a ride home. They repeatedly declined. That's when Rashinsky says Patron hit her, although Tokars did not see, testifying she had her hood up and head down. The women ran into an apartment building. Tokars says Patron slapped her to the ground in the foyer, breaking her wrist when she fell. The Crown submitting surveillance video from inside the foyer as evidence, matching the women's stories. Patron also declined to cross-examine Tokars, and following a 2.5-hour break in court, Patron decided he will not testify or call any witnesses. Now, a number of discussions took place between Patron and the judge outside of the jury's presence during the break. Those conversations are under a publication ban. No further evidence will be submitted. Court will resume Thursday morning for closing arguments. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Regina.
There you go. So a little bit shorter today. That's the story of Patron's trial of day 2. I'm not demeaning any of the injuries of the victims. I am just an onlooker trying to piece together the story and keeping in mind the state of mind of the alleged victims, and also what's Travis's side of the story that hasn't really been played out in the media. And of course, we all know the media has been a little biased towards the Canadian Nationalist Party. and its members. So thanks, media. Um, yeah, just a lot of things up in the air. Not really much you can comment on. He also has another trial coming up in September for hate speech. Now that one we can definitely go in depth. We could do Bible studies on that stuff, and go over the law and all that. So that'll be interesting, and I don't know, maybe I'll show up there. We'll see if it should be open to public. That's got to be public, man. This is more private. Um, uh, as it's private individuals, even though Travis is a figure in the community. So yeah, I guess what we learned is the victim's state of mind. We patched that up. Um, we figured out that they made a testimony after the day after the incident happened. Um, and that the lady didn't see the hitting. And I guess there's video evidence that he's allegedly took down two women. Yeah, I don't know. Kind of odd. But closing arguments Thursday. And I don't know if they get a judgment coming. Be interesting to see what happens. It's interesting. There's probably a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you don't know about that Travis is talking to. So yeah, nobody watching. What the fuck? Anyway, all right, guys. We'll see you guys later. Have a good night.